The year was 1995, and Mei Ling was a picture of rural serenity. A small village, it thrived on farming and trading, with its vibrant markets full of fresh produce, spices, and herbs. The people of Mei Ling were content, living in harmony with nature, relying on traditional remedies and recipes passed down through generations. But this peaceful life was shattered in early July. It began slowly, with just a few cases of illness. Villagers reported feeling dizzy and nauseous, their energy drained from even the simplest tasks. It seemed like a seasonal sickness, the kind that came and went with the shifting humidity. But soon, more and more villagers fell ill. Within days, the sickness spread like wildfire. People who were healthy just days earlier now lay in bed, gripped by unexplained nausea, vomiting, and fever. At first, the villagers believed it was a common summer fever brought on by the heat and humidity. The village healer, Mr. Zhang, assured them that with enough rest and herbal remedies, they would recover. He prepared teas from local herbs, burning incense to cleanse the air and ward off bad spirits. But the illness didn't go away. It got worse. Symptoms became more severe. Dizziness turned to convulsions, and faint headaches grew into unbearable migraines. People began collapsing in the streets, their bodies racked by violent seizures. Rumors spread that something far more sinister was at play. Superstition gripped the village. Some feared that they had angered the spirits of their ancestors, disturbed by the new road construction happening near the village. As the illness continued to ravage Mei Ling, fear turned into panic. Families locked themselves in their homes, afraid to even interact with neighbors. They avoided the marketplace, fearful that some invisible curse was hiding in their food or drink. But despite their efforts, the sickness spread relentlessly, affecting the young and old alike. Desperate for answers, the villagers called upon outside help. A team of doctors and investigators arrived, searching for clues that might explain the mysterious epidemic. They tested the village's water sources, checked the air for toxins, and examined the livestock, suspecting contamination. But all the tests came back clean, leaving the doctors baffled. The situation worsened when children began to fall ill, including a little girl named Leon. Leon had been one of the healthiest, happiest children in the village, always full of life and energy. When she collapsed after attending a village festival, her mother's heart sank. Desperate to save her daughter, Leon's mother recounted every detail of their day, hoping to uncover a clue. She mentioned the meals they had eaten, the tea they drank, and the food stalls they visited during the celebration. Leon's mother shared this information with the investigators, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The food was the same as always: stews, teas, and traditional dishes that the village had relied on for generations. However, the doctors were curious. If the water and air were clean, and there were no signs of infectious disease, then perhaps the answer lay in the food itself. Investigators began to scrutinize every ingredient used in the village's cooking. They took samples from the markets, tested herbs, spices, and even everyday ingredients like rice and vegetables. Days passed without any concrete findings. The villagers grew more anxious as the illness spread, claiming more lives. Then one evening, a startling discovery was made. In the local market, among the usual assortment of spices, investigators found something unexpected. A specific batch of an innocuous-looking spice caught their attention. When they tested it, the results were shocking. The spice was contaminated with a potent neurotoxin, capable of causing seizures, hallucinations, and even death. The contaminated spice was star anise, a common ingredient used in traditional cooking and medicine. But this was no ordinary star anise. What the villagers had been consuming was a toxic variety, Japanese star anise, nearly indistinguishable from its safe counterpart. The villagers had unknowingly poisoned themselves, adding the dangerous spice to their soups, teas, and remedies. This was the cause of the mysterious illness. The neurotoxins in the Japanese star anise were wreaking havoc on their bodies, causing the terrifying symptoms that had gripped the village for weeks. The doctors were stunned. How had such a deadly mistake occurred? It turned out that a traveling trader, unfamiliar with the subtle differences between the varieties of star anise, had supplied the village with the toxic batch. By the time the mistake was discovered, it was too late. The damage was irreversible. 23 villagers had already lost their lives, and dozens more would carry the scars of the illness for the rest of their days. The authorities acted quickly to remove the contaminated spice from the village and surrounding areas. Regulations were put in place to prevent such a tragedy from happening again, and traders were educated on how to identify the toxic Japanese star anise. But for the people of Mei Ling, the damage was done. The village was forever changed, its close-knit community fractured by the tragedy. The villagers had been betrayed by something they trusted so deeply, something that was supposed to nourish and heal them. The tragedy became a cautionary tale, not just in Mei Ling but across the region, a reminder of how easily life can turn to death when we are not careful. The tragedy of Mei Ling reminds us of the fragility of life and the unexpected dangers that can arise from even the most trusted things. What should have been a simple spice became a deadly poison, tearing apart families and leaving a lasting scar on the village. Though star anise remains a staple in kitchens worldwide, the story of Mei Ling will forever be a warning. Sometimes the deadliest things are the ones we trust the most. Thank you for tuning in, and leave a comment below with your take on this unfortunate event. Please take care, be safe, like and subscribe for more.